in if ever the case. But they choose to eliminate Rengar. You know, Rengar, yes, he can snowball out of control, but there's always the chance that if you could just brick wall him and not give him any kills in the early game, he won't be as effective as we want it to be. And once a Rengar jumps into the team fight, it's still manageable. So I don't really agree with the sort of bans that they're coming in with here for Bigetron Esports. So that actually opens up the Ziggs perfectly well. We saw some really high pick or ban ratio because Ziggs just gets you so much of that poke coming throughout the entirety of the fight. But over the bottom side, they want to go with something a lot more stable. Rakan and Xayah usually will not have too much trouble in the early game, or I could, of course, take my word for it if TF were to dive them later on.
I'm not a huge Xayah fan, to be honest with you, Contra.
Why is that?
I like Kai'Sa instead of... Well, I'm glad you asked. I like Kai'Sa instead of Xayah. I like a lot of other carries instead of Xayah because Xayah takes such a long time to come online in team fights. And during the early game, she gets outfought in 1v1s because her auto attacks, just as auto attacks before you blade cooler them, are less effective. So for instance, this Kai'Sa that Kirol is going to be playing, first of all, I do think is the most important, is the highest tier AD carry right now. And second of all, when they step up, when they trade auto attacks in early lane, Xayah is going to lose that every single time.
Yeah, but when it comes down to the support role, I do think that the Rakan definitely fares a little bit better
Rakan
from
enjoyer.
what... yeah, so far, like we saw from Eason, you can always start fights overall, but, you know, he has to play as aggressively as Eason, then that's going to be the sort of the question that we have for Harry. Is he going to be able to do so the entirety of this game? Because if not, then it's going to be the same sort of scenario that we've witnessed for the past 2 games. Henry still sticks to his mid lane PF, while in the jungle,
I couldn't agree more.
Interesting, especially when you have the Fizz coming back online.
And SBTC, they've just locked in the composition again. They say, run us back. We'll go full team fight, full early game, win in the first 10 minutes, and take this as a clean 3-0. Bigetron have one more shot to stay alive in the Summer Super Cup.
I hope that all of you fans hailing from Indonesia will be able to provide them massive support overall. Bigetron, we gotta give them credit for their run, but oh, bottom side though.
It's not starting well. Okay, now again on the Galio support, again demonstrating its value, able to force heal and flash from Dua, and gets to stay in lane, and gets to stay here. So they're just going to shove that wave underneath turret at the 1 minute mark.
Well, this is how confident SBTC is playing this one now. They got not too much to lose overall if they were to drop a point. Sure, let's push it to game number 4 then. But Minas, she's getting a little bit more focus coming from the Fizz, and this might just be a very early gank. Over on to Minas.
Control shows up, auto attacks Minas. Minas walks away, thinks about what happened, picks up the honey fruit, and resets his HP bar. So overall, I would rate that gank like a 2 out of 10.
2 out of 10. Well, fair enough. Maybe I'll just give a little bit of credit of 3 over 10.
Okay.
Because it couldn't
We can agree to disagree.
Well, just 1 point difference doesn't change too much, doesn't it?
I mean,
still no kills whatsoever. Because early game
maybe
Fizz,
we're both
how much can you do?
Maybe we're both being harsh Contra because nobody died and Bigetron got this scuttler. I don't know.
Well,
there's okay, no. Wow! This is so good. Akeno just walks in through the river, knows exactly where they are. TF chases over the wall. And that could have been a step too far.
Yeah.
Knows exactly where the Bigetron side is as they try and steal away a buff. That was warded. So Akeno just walks in, finds a double taunt, and SBTC don't get the kills, but they get control of the area, keep their buff alive, and steal away. TF just stole away Bigetron's Raptors.
Yeah, you know that he's working extra hard to get the MVP title that he definitely deserves. That you were so
Deserves.
disappointed all over game number 2. But, you know, I do want to point out one thing in particular that we can highlight out of Bigetron Esports, you know, other than their group stages that I was mentioning that they did a decent job at. Well, the whole ideation of running the Twisted Fate up in the mid lane alongside with the Fizz is that you can easily set up gangs on the side lanes in this early game once you hit level 5, which is currently being achieved by both sides of the party. Although you can say Julie as well as a few of these members, such as Minas, does have a level advantage, so Renekton does seem to struggle a lot. But I can see where this one goes when Bigetron actually starts a fight, but I don't know.
Double taunt again. Kano able to turn the tables, and here comes Tiap round the side. Heroic entrance to back up, and Tiap's into the back lines. Featherstorm forced, Mega Infertibomb to chase the kills. They will only find Henry. Dua does get away. This turret, though, it's gonna crumble.
Yeah, it has to go down, and there's no one to defend it. They have enough units to work with, but Harry's just going to be risking his life for it with his health bar chunked down. And that might have actually been another kill for the side of SBTC. While Control comes right in, here comes the Chum of Waters.
Tiap's going to go down, and Julie and Carol are okay with that. Tiap is playing kind of a secondary support. That's the nature of playing Jarvan. So you take that.
And I would definitely take
good.
that any day. So, well, Bigetron finally gets their lead on any advantage over on the span of 3 games. So things are looking a lot better overall on how they really want to play the game. So Bigetron, they can actually play it a little bit safer with the bottom laners still sticking to the lower side of the map. They don't really have to rotate, but as for Bigetron's other members, they need to actually provide a little bit more assistance to this top side of the map, or else SBTC might actually get another free turret out of that. Well, Bigetron is already working on their first, but they don't really have much minions to work with.
Or very much turret damage. This is another downside of Xayah. I do want to just give Bigetron props, though. They find that kill onto TF and say instantly, we're going to take this Drake off of that. They don't have a jungler. There's no way they can contest. Props go both ways as SBTC acknowledge that and say, okay, well, we're not contesting that Drake. Let's push topside. Just 2 teams understanding the game state and playing to it very well. Mega Infertibomb in the mid wave just to clear out the minions. Kano will land a 3-man taunt, but there's no follow-up this time, so it's mostly just a reset. Here comes the flank, though. Minas from the bottom, TF and Kirol from the top, and already Dua's gone! Deep dive from the heroic entrances. Henry tries to contest to the front lines. He is just burned down. Kirol doing so much damage in these team fights, and Bigetron just hiding behind their turret. That turret is gonna melt. Controls roaming in, looking desperately for an angle onto Julie. Denied by TF. Okano landing the taunt as well. Just zoning off any kind of pressure. And SBTC get the turret. Now they turn towards the Rift Herald.
This is a very methodical play coming out of SBTC overall. At Bigetron Esports, they are looking to actually trade objectives, but they're not really all too quick on their run to do so. Well, they know that there's no way that they can get anywhere close to the Herald, so they are just going to be shoving the wave. And even when they do, there's always the Mega Inferno Bomb that can easily clear things out whenever Julie has that up available. So instead, they want to work on the Brutal Turret right down the bottom side of the map. This will be challenged by SBTC Esports eventually. They're already on their way, and once again, Mega Inferno lands, and Akino's looking for a pick.
Interrupted that time. You can still see the Righteous Glory comboing with Deadman's. Again, the Galio support build. So scary. PC League of Legends players will remember the glorious days in which you could flash mid-taunt. You can't do that, even in Wild Rift. But you can generate a truly terrifying amount of move speed on a Galio that effectively simulates it.
I absolutely miss that sort of the mechanic.
Everyone
play.
does.
And I guess it's fair that, you know, you take away a little bit of what people can expect out of the Galio, because that flash taunt is so lethal whether you run it mid or run it on support role. And you already saw what Akano can pull up, and he's going to be going into the ticket phase.
He's so fast. Justice Punch interrupts the escape. Featherstorm needs to be spent. It does not get Dua out as Kiro walks behind the turret, drops the Agapian Rain, and finds 2 kills. Now stunned up though, isolated behind the turret by Henry's gold card. It will finally be something back. And Henry's looking for more. For how long? Akano steps up, traded well. Gold card again denies entry. Control needs to iframe the Mega Inferno Bomb and will die as a result. Doesn't have the cooldowns to keep fighting. Julie chases deep behind the turret and almost kills Henry. As is, it's even trading again with the turret picked up by SBTC.
Okay, Rakan's coming right in. He's got to ignite. Is it
you don't
enough
get
though?
That kill? Surely not. Oh my god.
Oh, wow. Wow, oh, wow. Okay, let's hold up for a second here, because Julie was playing so aggressive. So aggressive on the Ziggs, he had little to no regards for his own life, and only when the Rakan comes in, then he was a little bit more concerned. Okay, I guess one more touch, I'll be dead, but he pops in the Ignite just to bring in to, you know, very little HP. But that's all that they're gonna get, right? So SBTC will get their hands on their own first Drake, while top portion of the map is open up for Bigetron Infinity if they were to look to settle for an objective overall, while SBTC just want to open up the tier 2 down bot.
I mean, it's mistiming the riposte now. Entertaining. Turret will be traded, like you were talking about. Tier 1 of the top side. Rift Herald now summoned against the inhibitor down bottom. And here are those, so SBTC get the better end of the trade. And they're going to press ever further forward. Charm for TF underneath the turret. It's not great, but you've got this. Heroic entrance over the top. Agapian Rain out from Kiro. Rift Herald charge. And all just like that, the inhibitor is gone in this bottom lane. SBTC have done it again. They've shattered the base of Bigetron before the 10-minute mark here in playoffs.
6 turrets in less than 10 minutes is already a big statement on how strong SBTC has been holding control of this entirety of the playoffs' first ever matchup here. And Bigetron Esports, I guess that they actually tried very hard back in the first few minutes of the game, which we saw an initiative to try to steal the blue buff away or to contest for Drakes. But still, another underlying problem is the way that they approach all these pickoffs or fights, which hasn't really worked all too well. So I want to see this Fizz work hand in hand alongside with Henry. Now that he's got the Rebellion Death Cap, at least there's a little bit more sort of a burst potential, but he's yet to work on that Lich Bane, which we want to see on the Twisted Fate.
And the Twisted Fate for Henry in this game has been pretty good. Like, I feel it is important we do not lose the context of this game, which is that Bigetron played a very good group stage. They got a win versus Amihan, a massive upset. They played very close games against some of the best teams in this month. And so the fact that SBTC are doing this to them indicates only SBTC's strength. Bigetron will step up here. Dominus out already deployed. The backline dive is melted. Bump is gone. What is this? Cataclysm. Mega Inferno Bomb. Bigetron just vanished before my eyes. Harry's gone for a complete Oppo teammates as SBTC are cleaning up game number 3 and booking their ticket to round 2 of the playoffs. They are going to play Amihan, and Bigetron, unfortunately, will be sent home.
The champions of the Vietnamese region once again showing what they're made of. Now just waiting for the super mutants, and instead of, you know, landing more taps on the Nexus, they say, you know, why not give some space for Bigetron to at least have a little bit more room to play.
So, Contra, how are you doing? What's going on with your life?
I'm doing okay, but I'm not too sure about some of the boys here playing in this match from Bigetron Infinity side. I'm kind of concerned. But, you know, I'm doing good.
This does suck for Bigetron, because it is a crushing defeat. There's no two ways about it. This must feel, it looks very rough, and it doesn't reflect how well Bigetron played during every other phase of this tournament. This looks scary, but Stoneplate got popped, so TF isn't going to take any damage. Don't worry about him.
Wow. Okay. Can we have a look at how much damage did that Mega Inferno Bomb did? Look at the health burst. That's one
gross.
Skill. And, okay. This is
there we go.
Absolutely too much.
The
now,
final turret on the map to be removed. Zakaino goes in, lands the taunt, and just like that, TF is into the backlines. Now this gets scary, though, as Falp 1 has survived, and TF goes down. SBTC trading even on the team fight. They do benefit, they do technically win because they get the turret damage, but their jungler's down. And you don't expect these trades to be even at this point. It just comes from how tanky Renekton is.
Yeah, and just getting a little bit of shutdown goal here, definitely worth certain trades, but overall, we're looking at maybe the second item coming in for the Fizz for now. Here comes Destiny, though. This might just be good.
Gold card. And that's a massive set of stuns onto Julie. Mega Inferno Bomb dropped to point blank range. Oh, Kiro, he's just going to clean this up. Shut down by Henry. That's huge plays from Henry. Still have to deal with Minas. Dueling in the front lines. Drops the grand challenge and finds a deep dive. Henry on the run will be shut down for his second kill. Harry flashes over the wall, trying to get to safety. No HP. Minas is looking for... Minas will have to go home in sadness and dismay, as Minas will be denied the triple, but SBTC will press forward towards this Nexus. Here's the flank around the side, a pure focus from Akano. TF, the meantime, taking a 1v2 and doing all right in it, as the final inhibitor turret falls. And SBTC, it must be said, feel like they're rather done with this and wishing they could get on with winning the game. That over-aggression already cost them 2 of their players' lives. And it may cost them another one here, as Minas needs to run away from Falp and will be stunned up by the Renekton. Flash engage with the Dominus. Oh, they're going to get that kill.
Oh, no.
Heroic entrance from Akano. Taunt, Mega Inferno Bomb will finally take down the Crocodile. He's going to come out of GA angry, but ultimately impotent and go down.
Yeah, so I guess there's that. The trades were entertaining indeed. While Bigetron Esports, they only managed to get 8 kills overall. Now to defend this Nexus is going to be the tall task in front of their eyes. And it only takes a couple of blows, and here comes Arcano going over the top.
Focus on Kiral. They need to kill Kiral, and they can't do it. Kiral steps up, finds 2 kills, and closes the game. 3-0 for the Vietnamese first seed, as SBTC represent the region on the playoff stage and blast forward to play Amihan in round 2.
All right, I'm getting pretty pumped up for them to meet Amihan already, because this has been the most sort of straightforward best of 5s overall. No disrespect or discredit to Bigetron Esports. It's just SBTC showing off how good they are as a team. It's not all about Kiro that we've highlighted most of the time. Julie, TF, Venus, they all put in the hard work alongside with Volcano. So let's see whether or not he finally get that MVP title, as this seems to be swinging all in favor of SBTC Esports, which they have so much room for errors if they just want to try to test their firepower overall. But Henry definitely tried to pull every cut out of the bag just to make things work, but he couldn't seem to get things done more efficiently as compared to SBTC.